live. What's going on, guys? Switch over real quick. What is up, everyone? We are live. I love to see it. And of course, we got to start off with my man's Hashim with the Let's Go champ. Thank you so much, brother. Let's go ahead and start it off with a Let's Get Ready to Rumble from our good friend, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Did I overdo the horns, or was it fire? Was it perfectly fire, or did I overdo it? What's going on, guys? Let me go ahead and look at the chat. We got YouTube Boxing 6000 in here. What's up, brother? We got Adrian Dones up in here, and of course, YouTube Boxing. We all love it. We love when Michael Buffer hits us with a Let's Get Ready to Rumble. We love it so much. We're gonna do it one more time.
ladies and gentlemen,
let's get ready to rumble. We starting this stream. All right, so let's talk about Benavidez. Let's talk about Benavidez because Benavidez, David Benavidez, that is not going to fight Morell. He does not care to fight Morell. That is not a thing that he's focusing on. That's not a thing that he wants. And he has somebody else in mind. Of course, his number one pick is going to be Canelo Alvarez. That goes without saying. But he has somebody else that he wants to fight if Canelo Alvarez doesn't take the call or answer the email, right? Morell needs more fights. ATP, what's that? At this point? Oh, at this point? Yeah, I agree. I think Morell, he shows a lot of talent when he fights. He shows that he has a lot of good talent. Cuban fighter. But I mean, is that enough? Like, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't fought anybody of note. He has very little fights under his belt. But Adrian Dones got it right here. He wants Jaime Munguia. And that's a great pick. This is what I mean when I say, this is what I'm talking about when I say that Benavidez has more routes than Canelo Alvarez. Right now, we're looking at Canelo Alvarez sideways because he's trying to fight Jermall, Mall, Charlo, for his next fight. Like, that's the legitimate move that they're trying to make for his next fight. And it sounds like it's going to be confirmed, 100% confirmed. But Benavidez could fight a Jaime Munguia, and that's going to be like, wow, this is a big deal. They're both undefeated. Jaime Munguia got a bunch of wins under his belt. Jaime Munguia just beat Sergey Derenchenko in a crazy explosive fight. So when people are saying that David Benavidez is ducking Morell for Jaime Munguia, they really don't know what they're talking about when it comes to boxing. And that's the truth. I'm not trying to sound condescending. I'm not trying to sound like mean or whatever, but it's the truth. You can't say that him saying, hey, listen, I don't got no... Because a Morell fight, there's no benefit to a Morell fight for David Benavidez. There's zero benefit for a Morell fight for David Benavidez. If he beats him, it's going to be like, oh, look, he exposed him. He's not really that good. If he loses to him, it's going to be like, damn, he really was that good, but now he got the loss, right? So it's a lose, 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 lose all the way. Then not that many people are going to watch the fight. It's a lose-lose in every way you look at it, in terms of marketability, what happens after you win, resume is just all a lose for him. Granted, David Morell, he's a decent fighter from what we've seen. We don't really know much. He's ranked number 9 in the world in the super middleweight. And let me see where Jaime Munguia is ranked. Because Jaime Munguia is ranked 4th. So Morell is ranked 9th. Jaime Munguia is higher rank. He has a higher star rating. Dave Morell is only a 4-star fighter on BoxRec. He's a 5-star fighter on BoxRec. He's undefeated, 42-0. That's an insane record. Granted, it's not all been like, high level fighters, but his last fight was against Sergey Derevyanchenko, and he has fought the likes of a Liam Smith as well. So he does have decent fights, but still being 42-0 is still really hard to do. Even if you fought 42 bums, nobody clipped you. So that's still somewhat impressive for him to be 42-0. And he's going to carry that with 33 knockouts, by the way. He's going to carry that 42-0, and that's going to be a really good highlight resume win for David Benavidez. So in my opinion, it makes way more sense for David Benavidez to fight Jaime Munguia. Now, let's go ahead and pull up what was said, just so you guys can see it. Let's go ahead and switch the picture real quick. So we got David Benavidez here saying there's no fight with Morell lined up. We want to fight Jaime Munguia. And that's so much cool. It's like David Benavidez, if he's not getting the best thing, he's getting like the next best thing. He's not doing like a Morell fight would appease Morell and maybe a few like Canelo fans that just want to harp on something. Oh, well, why aren't you fighting Morell? But really, him fighting Jaime Munguia, that's way bigger than him fighting Morell. In any way you cut it and slice it, is much bigger for him to fight Jaime Munguia than it is for him to fight David Morell. So he says Benavidez, but look at this. He hasn't even ruled him out. Hasn't ruled out fighting David Morell Jr. next. The unbeaten WBC, and this is Boxing Scene, by the way. The unbeaten WBC interim super middleweight champion confirmed during an interview Tuesday with FightHype.com that he hasn't agreed to fight Morell either. If Canelo Alvarez indeed isn't an option, which means that's the number one guy he wants. He wants Canelo, and he's holding on to a Canelo fight. He's not agreeing to anything until that Canelo fight is completely off the table, and that he would have to wait to see if Canelo signs something with the Jamal Charlo fight. If he goes ahead and does that fight with Jamal, then we're going to go ahead and see him probably move on to trying to negotiate to fight Jaime Munguia. Benavidez, if Canelo indeed isn't an option for Benavidez' return to the ring in the fall, he will prefer to face Mexican contender Jaime Munguia over Morell, who belittled Benavidez in a press release that was issued by the unbeaten Cuban southpaw publicist Tuesday. Benavidez, 27-0 with 23 knockouts, is keeping his options open and refuted reports that a deal for a fight with Morell has been finalized. So there is no fight with Morell, guys. There's no fight with Morell. He's not fighting Morell. For some people, this is a sad thing. For others, for anybody who really understands what's going on, it's better for him to fight Munguia than it is for him to fight Morell. And we could even look at their box rec, right? We got David Morell here. 9 wins with 8 KOs. He's a Cuban fighter, number 1 in Cuba for super middle, but number 9 in the world for super middle. No notable fights. Nothing jumps out at you at all. These are all kind of starter fights. So he's been looking good with his starter fights. But is that gonna push him to the point where he could fight a Benavidez? I think Benavidez is way too above. I mean, Benavidez just came off of beating a Caleb Plant, right? I think Benavidez is too far above and too far away for Morell right now. And if we compare him to Jaime Munguia is number 2 in the division. I'm sorry, number 4 in the world. But he's a 5-star rated super middle. So he's higher ranked than David Morell. He just came off of a spectacular fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko. And he's beaten other people like Gabriel Rosado, right? He's beaten people like Liam Smith right here, Liam Smith. So he has some good notable wins under his belt. And he has a really good shiny record of minty fresh 42-0. My man's only a few more wins away from matching Floyd Mayweather Jr. Granted, he's nowhere near the type of fighters that Floyd fought. But in terms of just record to record, he's doing something real crazy right now. That's probably one of the best records in terms of an undefeated record that we have in professional boxing right now. Plus, he comes with the star power. So you get everything, all for the bank the bang for your buck is way better for him to fight Jaime Munguia. All right, let me go ahead and switch over to you guys. We could go ahead and talk about see what you guys are saying in the comment section.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oops. All right, let's leave it. I pressed it by accident. You still get the horns though. You still get the horns because you Michael Buffer. All right, let's go ahead and pull up what you guys are saying over here. Let's see. Jaime got a legitimate win over Rosado, right? I missed the fight. Yeah, he got a win over Gabriel Rosado as well. Yes, Jaime Munguia is doing his thing. Although I think that fight he had a little bit of trouble, but he did get the win. I have 15 Monty Easter. I have 15 amateur boxing matches, and that alone was tough. And I quit soon as I got my first concussion. LOL. So 42 fights is impressive at any rate. 100%. 100%. People don't understand. It's like, yeah, he's 42-0, man, but that's 42 bums or whatever, even though that's an over-exaggeration because we know, see, he has some notable wins in there. But even if it is 42 bums, it's still hard to do it and stay undefeated. It's still hard to do it and stay undefeated. And he doesn't have a style that's like, oh, I'm going to run or whatever, or not run, but like he doesn't have a style where he's incredibly defensive and he's always on the back foot, right? He doesn't have that type of style. He has a style that's a come forward attack style. So for him to have a come forward attack style and be 42-0, that's crazy. That's very, very difficult to pull off. So if Benavidez gets a win over Jaime Munguia, he gets a minty, fresh resume showing being the one to beat somebody that got 42 wins. I mean, he hasn't lost, so that's a big argument you can make, even marketable. It's very marketable to be like, this guy hasn't lost a fight. Let's see what happens, right? This guy has 42 wins. Casual fans don't really know much. Some people know that, hey, Jaime Munguia, I've heard about him, and then they'll see that his record is 42-0. They'll be like, oh, man, they're both undefeated, so who could actually win this fight? Casual fans don't know, like, they don't know much. You could easily set something up like this and casual fans will eat it up. They'll eat it up. Now, here's the question though. Would that fight do well on pay-per-view? It might pull some Mexican audiences, but will it do well on pay-per-view? He would have to fight to some degree, in some fashion, in an area that there will be some congregation for Mexican fans. It looks like Canelo has hijacked the May Cinco de Mayo and the September Independence Day weekend or week, whatever. So it's going to be tough. But if he could do something to rally the Mexican fan base, it is possible that this could do decent numbers. I don't know how much. I would say something in the ballpark of 250,000 to 300,000 pay-per-views is a possibility. Maybe I'm doing too much, but maybe it is. I don't know. We have to see how powerful the Mexican fan base is. Real strong. They're very, very, very strong. YouTube Boxing 6007, Benavidez would slaughter Munguia, and that's no disrespect to Munguia. Yeah, if they fought, I would have Benavidez winning that fight, 100%. If they fought, I would have Benavidez winning that fight. But it's still a better fight. It's still a better fight than if he was to fight David Morell. So the narrative that's being spewed out there with people that want to defend Canelo, or they're just anti David Benavidez fans, whatever it is, the narrative that's being put out there that David Benavidez is ducking David Morell is ridiculous. That's the equivalent of saying somebody is ducking I don't know, like someone's ducking Jamal Charlo to fight Canelo Alvarez. If you was fighting Canelo Alvarez, that's not ducking Jamal Charlo, because you're fighting somebody that's more dangerous. You're fighting somebody that got a higher chance of winning. So that's not ducking. You can't call that ducking. A person cannot fight everybody at the same time. So what's the best thing a person can do is fight the best person at any given time. And when you do that, you're not ducking fighting the other person, because the other person is not better than the person you chose. The only time it's ducking, or you could consider something ducking, when somebody picks someone else, is if that someone else is not better than the person that wants to fight them. Right? And here with David Morell, come on, guys. Why are we pretending that David Morell is this crazy world beater and he just started? He just started. Does he look nice and slick and smooth and everything? Yeah. But he just started. Remember, people could look nice, slick, and smooth. I mean, Prince Nassim looked mad smooth. He looked like he was doing whatever he wanted. He was incredibly entertaining to watch. He went up against Marco Antonio Barrera, and none of that stuff worked. None of that stuff worked. And I like Prince Nassim because he was entertaining. But once you take all that flashing, you could be flashy with people that are not on your level. But once you get to the elite level, what happens? We don't know. So we can't be looking at what David Morell is doing now and say, oh, this just proves that he's good. So now that Benavidez want to fight Munguia, that means he's scared of David Morell. That's a ridiculous talking point. Jaime Munguia is a much better proposition than David Morell 100 times over. 100 times over. Let's see. But my Cuban brothers have always been in the category of high risk, high reward. Morell day will come. They are young fighters. Yeah. It's just not now. It's just not now. We got Poe in the house. What's going on, brother? I love to see you. Love to see you in here. AP, whatever, yo, dropping in to show some love. Thank you so much, brother. Love to see it. Love to have you guys here. YouTube Boxing 6007, off topic, but do you agree that Caleb Plant is a fighter that gives a lot of fan service and doesn't duck anyone, similar to like Chisora or Porter, where he don't always win, but he ain't a duck? Yeah, 100%. 100%. And he's in that space where now he could really just fight. Like, he's perfect for anybody to fight because they see that he's lost, so that it gives them confidence to fight him, and that allows him to fight basically anybody he wants. Because it's like, oh, can I get a name off of beating Caleb Plant? And Caleb Plant is like, can I get redemption off of beating this high-level fighter? So Caleb Plant is in a good spot in terms of fights being easier for fights to be made in respects to, does a person think that they could beat him or not? Before he fought Canelo, he wasn't that sought after. But after he fought Canelo, now he's more sought after. Now he's more sought after, and he's more willing, because he got the Canelo fight already. He's more willing to get in there with other guys. So yeah, 100%. I believe that he's in a space right now where he's gonna continue to fight like as the best that he can fight, the best that want to fight him, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna want to fight him because he's a name. He's a name. Once you become a name, you're always a name. Like, look at Gabriel Rosado. He ain't the biggest, elite fighter, but he's a name. Just being a name is enough for a lot of people to fight you because they know that sells. And I think Caleb Plant is in that position where, yeah, he might not win the big, super big fights like a Benavidez or a Canelo, but he's still a big name. And if you beat a Caleb Plant, you get to say, hey, look, I beat Caleb Plant. And that goes a long way on your resume. That goes a real long way on your resume. Munguia smashed out Saddam Ali in 4 rounds. That was huge, and he outclassed Rosado. Munguia is from Tijuana too, so he is definitely marketable for a big fight. Yeah. Not only is he marketable, but he got a crazy record. So all around, Benavidez could be like, yo, look, I took out Jaime Munguia, 42-0, killer, 33 knockouts. I took him out. Benavidez has the ability to be able to say that. Guys, hit the like if you haven't. I think we only got 5 likes right now, but we got a bunch of you guys in here. Please hit the like if you haven't. Please. It helps the channel grow so we can keep on doing these on a weekly basis. Let me hit y'all with a Michael Buffer while y'all hit that like.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hit y'all with a Michael Buffer. Thank you, Michael. Yes, guys, please hit the like if you haven't, please. It definitely helps the channel continue to grow because we're doing really good, man. We're doing really good off the jump, and I want the momentum to continue. Hold on. All right, man. I'm gonna stop blowing up the chat. LOL. It's all good, man. We love the conversations, man. It's all good. Exactly. Look at Adrian Broner pre-Maidana. Yeah. See. Once you lose that big fight, then you just mad open to fighting. Once you lose that big fight, you just mad open to fighting. It's just that's something that's easy for you. Hey, after Broner lost to Maidana, this dude went on a tear and fought everybody. He fought what's this dude's name? Sean Porter. He fought Manny Pacquiao. Like, the man just went ham. He started fighting everybody after that loss. Sometimes the loss helps you, like, just be like, I don't care, man. I don't care. You're marketable now. You might become a journeyman, which is not everybody wants to do that, but you know that you have job security for a certain amount of time until you retire. Gabriel Rosado has job security because he's Gabriel Rosado. All the losses he has, he got job security. Same thing with Arturo Gatti. He had a bunch of losses, but he had job security because he was Arturo Gatti. He could have all them losses and Mayweather still gonna fight him with all them losses. Why? Because he's Arturo Gatti. He's Arturo Thunder Gotti, so he gonna get fights. Same thing with Caleb Plant. He's Sweet Hands Caleb Plant, so he gonna get fights. And he gonna fight anybody because he already went to the top. He lost. He tried again. He lost. He's gonna keep on going. Why not? You got nothing to lose. All you have now is to gain. So yeah, I do see Caleb Plant now just easily fighting anybody when he's during the matchmaking process. I just F with Caleb Plant heavy after discovering him and his story before he fought Canelo. He's a cool guy, and I'm always root for him. He just got endurance issues he need to fix. Yeah. I mean, before the Canelo fight, he looked mad smooth and clean, and like he was really he was slick in there. Even with Canelo, he was pretty slick. But once he got caught and like Canelo started pounding away, it was very difficult for him to recover. And then Canelo obviously took him out. It was kind of sad to see because he was like, oh, like he went up to Canelo. He's like, yo, I'm not bad, right? I'm not that bad, right? And it's almost like, damn, you feel bad because you could tell he felt embarrassed from the loss. And it's hard because that's his first loss. And that's a public thing. Man, boxing could be amazing and cruel all at the same time. Especially to the psyche, to the person's mental health. Adrian Dones, I don't think Morell can beat Plant. We need to see more from Morell before he starts calling shots. Yeah. Same. I agree. I mean, if Morell was gonna fight somebody, I think one that would make more sense is a Plant. Just because, Plant lost to Benavidez. Morell, people are talking about Morell should fight Benavidez. So Plant fighting Morell is almost like a gatekeeping kind of fight to see if Morell is even in that vicinity of fighting somebody like a David Benavidez, or if he's just blowing smoke to get, to siphon audiences from David Benavidez. Because sometimes boxers be blowing smoke. Like, they'll talk like, oh, he's scared of me or whatever, but they not really all about it, right? Like, not to throw him under the bus, but Boots Ennis, when he was double talking on that podcast, I forgot the game worth the game podcast, and he was like, and they were saying different dates and different years, and they forgot. He was probably saying, like, yeah, I'll fight Terrence Crawford whenever he's interviewed so they could put him in the conversation as somebody in that echelon, somebody in that level. But he might not actually be in that level, But they're just going to say that. So he's just going to say stuff like, I'll fight Crawford, I'll fight Spence, I'll fight Crawford, I'll fight Spence, but not actually send them negotiation papers, not actually send them contracts to actually fight. People do that. It's all politics. Boxing, you have to take a lot of the stuff with a grain of salt. You have to look at what they do action-wise over what they say verbally. Because what they say verbally, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing because it's politics. It's politics. If he wants you to think that he's a high-level fighter, he's going to call out, who's he going to call out? He's going to call out high-level fighters, but continue to fight lower-level fighters. But when you put a microphone in his face, he's going to say, yeah, you know what? I want Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. And then when they go back home, they're going to be sending contracts to the lower-level fighters. They're not going to be sending contracts to Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. They're not going to be calling Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence or their promoters or anybody. But in the public eye, they're going to say that that's who they want. Boxing is very political because it's not a one, it's so fractured. There's a lot of stuff that people have to do to maintain their popularity, maintain, people's interest. There's a lot of different tactics that they use, and that's one of the tactics that people use. That's one of the tactics. Guys, hit the like.
Ladies and
hit
gentlemen.
the like. We got 8 likes. Come on, we get more than 8. We get more than 8 likes. Come on now. I know we can. All right, let's see. I still have a strong feeling it's going to be Benavidez and Canelo in September. Yeah, I don't know. I want it to be Canelo versus Benavidez in September so bad. I wanted to be that fight so bad, but it just doesn't feel like it's trending that way because of the fact that Canelo is doing everything in his power to fight somebody else. Like I said in episode 25 on Monday, he's waking up Jamal Charlo, who's been sleeping for 2 years. He's shaking him and waking him up. Meanwhile, Benavidez is standing right next to him like this. So to me, it just looks like unless this is a play for Canelo to get more money, which is difficult for me to comprehend because this fight almost sells itself. Not 100%. Doesn't sell itself OD like Tank versus Ryan. That sells itself. This almost sells itself. But yet, and he was getting offered a $50 million guaranteed, which is not even a purse split, and he knows 100% he's the A side, so he's gonna get a big chunk of that split. It's gonna be something like 60-40 or something like 65-35. So he knows he's gonna get a big chunk off of the purse split, and then he knows that the fight is gonna do numbers. So there's so much money involved. So to me, even if he would have accepted the $50 million, that's a lot of money. So when I think about it, it's like he wants more money than that, guaranteed. Because that's the only other play that's happening. If that's not a play, if what he's doing right now is not a play, because $50 million is already big, the fight is already a big fight. Mexican versus Mexican is always big, and Mexicans and casuals know about David Benavidez. He's known, right? He's known. Look at when Caleb Plant fought Canelo. He almost did 1 million pay-per-view buys. It was like 800-something pay-per-view buys. You don't think that if he could do 800-something pay-per-views with Caleb Plant, he can't do something similar or even higher with Benavidez, who beat Caleb Plant? To the casual fan, Benavidez and Caleb Plant are very similar in terms of notoriety. So he's going to do a lot of money with Benavidez, and they know it. There's already a case study of what he did with Caleb Plant. So I can't see this being a play because he's already getting offered a lot of money, and the fight is already going to make a lot of money. So if it's not a play, then that means he 100% for some reason does not want to fight Benavidez. The only other third option could be that he's saving that fight for May. And why, I do not know. So it could very well be more than likely that second option where he just doesn't want to fight Benavidez for whatever reason. Because once again, boxing is political. It's safer for him to lose to a Bivol going up to light heavyweight. Because he knows that his fans and everybody, people could just say, hey, you lost to a bigger guy, don't worry. Even though Bivol didn't use his weight to beat Canelo, he didn't knock him out. He wasn't sitting on top of him. He was barely on him. He was just outboxed. He just outboxed him. He would have outboxed him if they were the same weight. He just outboxed a smaller guy. He was smaller, but he outboxed him. Weight had nothing to do with that fight. Bivol's not even a knockout fighter, which was one of the reasons why he was chosen and not Artur Beterbiev. But people are still going to be like, yo, don't worry, we got this, in our back pocket. We got this excuse in our back pocket. He's the bigger guy. But then what do you say when he fights a Benavidez? That excuse can't be used. If he fights Benavidez, that excuse cannot be used. And then losing to Benavidez will hurt more. Because then it'll start making fans and all these guys have to look at Canelo and say, oh, is Canelo not the best? Because they could rationalize a Bivol loss. Can they rationalize a Benavidez loss? And that's not to say that Canelo would lose to Benavidez. He could very well be much better than Benavidez when they get in the ring. But the potential to lose to Benavidez is a big enough deal. Could be a big enough deal. Because if that isn't the reason, then why hasn't Canelo tried to fight him when the most money is with a Benavidez fight, the most guarantee is with a Benavidez fight, the most notoriety is with a Benavidez fight, the better resume building is with a Benavidez fight, all of that stuff. You're not going to get that with a Jermall Charlo fight. You're going to con a few casuals to believe that the Jermall Charlo is Jermell Charlo. But other than that, the real boxing fans know that that's Jermall. That man has not fought in a long time. And even when he did fight, he ain't really fight nobody of note. He got one or two little wins here. You're Canelo. Benavidez is right there. Fight Benavidez. Battle of the Ducks, who priced themselves out of a super fight. Canelo versus Tyson Fury, who had the worst case of a very obvious duck. You know what? I wouldn't say that Tyson Fury. Well, you know what? Right now, Tyson Fury does feel like he's ducking. Right now, he does feel like he's ducking. Because when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder, I was like, kudos to Tyson Fury, man. He's fighting Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder was a knockout killer. So at that time, I didn't really take him as a duck. But now it's crazy to me that he's not willing to fight Usyk when Usyk is dying to fight him. And Usyk is so little. Usyk is very, very, very little. It's almost like, is the issue with Tyson Fury is that he wants to know that he's the better boxer in the ring at all times in terms of boxing ability. And he might feel a little bit insecure when it comes to Usyk and him and who's the better boxer in that scenario. Because I know in his mind, he knows he's a better boxer. He's a better boxer than Deontay Wilder, even though Deontay Wilder has the eraser, has that right hand. He knows I'm probably still the better boxer. He knows that he's the better boxer against Anthony Joshua. But he might not know if he's the better boxer against Usyk. Because Usyk, man, that dude's skilled, man. Undisputed at cruiserweight. Moved up. Unified at heavyweight. That's skills, man. That's skills. Because you can weigh as heavy as you want in heavyweight. So it's no joke. And Tyson Fury will be coming in real big. Real big. I think Rolly versus AB for the WBA will be wrestling fans over. Will bring wrestling fans over to boxing. Yo, that's actually a really good fight. That gives an opportunity for Adrian Broner to win a world title again. That's a good redemption story if that happens. Rolly is not really that good, so it opens up the floor for that. The press conferences are going to be hilarious between both of these guys. It's going to be super entertaining. Rolly has proven to be a good marketable fighter, as he gave Tank one of his best pay-per-view numbers. Right before the Ryan Garcia fight, he gave Tank one of his best pay-per-view numbers without being that big of a threat. So I think this is a perfect fight for Adrian Broner. And hopefully they do it, but we're going to have to wait and see because Adrian Broner is with Don King right now. I don't even know how that works. Like, how do you fight, like, with PBC, but you would die? I don't know, man. I don't know how it works. If they could even make that fight, if they even have the ability to make that fight, because Don King is also Don King, right? So he's gonna want to have a certain control, but then they're gonna be like, bro, you don't got that pull right now, so it's gonna be a PBC production, and you just gotta let us do it. If not, like, get out of here. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, Canelo taking a big L right now. I believe so. I believe so. If he doesn't fight Benavidez in September and he actually pulls through, I'm telling you, they're already reporting that they're about to announce Canelo versus Jamal Charlo. They're reporting that they're about to announce that. And before Canelo demands 95, my man said 95.5 per split, a rehydration clause, a 5-foot ring, and for Benavidez to have his right hand tied behind his back in the contract. Wow, my man said a 95.5 split. Well, I don't think he would use a rehydration clause with Benavidez because Benavidez ain't that big. A 5-foot ring. I said 5-foot ring. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the A-side, man. All the A-sides have done it. All the A-sides have done it. Could De La Hoya Mayweather have like, what was it, 12-ounce gloves, right? He had 12-ounce gloves. They had a small ring. He picked the ring size. He made Mayweather have to go all the way, no catch weight, go all the way up to 154. We know you're not going to make it, but try to get as close as possible because we fighting this at 154. And then when Mayweather, was the A side, he was doing it, right? Not to that crazy degree. He wasn't choosing the size of people's gloves and stuff like that, but he was, choosing the venue and things like that, things that could benefit him. So all the A-sides do it. Canelo's an A-side, so yeah, he's going to flex his A-side muscles. Canelo tweaking hard right now. His stock plummeting. Yeah. I legit think Better BF can be the only one to hurt Canelo more than GGG did. And I mean, like, fully knocking down or knocking out Canelo. I do think that Arthur Better BF has the ability to do that, man. That dude is powerful. This is the Kovalev fight that he needs to make. Because he made the Kovalev fight when Kovalev was way past his prime. He wasn't the crusher anymore. Now, Arthur Better BF is the crusher. So he need to be fighting Arthur Better BF to show that he could beat the crusher of this day and age. And that's Arthur Better BF. So I would love to see him fight him, but he wasn't even an option. Crazy. Wasn't even an option. The man holds the WBC belt, and he wasn't even an option. And mind you, Canelo's franchise champion, so he can go into any division and fight another WBC champion. That is a perk of the franchise champion. So he could supersede any person in the rankings and go up and fight. And then the person that was next in the rankings would just fight him if he wins. So he actually can fight Better BF, but he's like trying to fight Bivol instead. Bivol don't want to fight you, so why don't you just fight Better BF and set stipulations? You wanted to fight Bivol at his weight. I'm positive that Arthur Better BF would want to fight you at his weight. So your belts are not going to be on the line, and you can fight at the light heavyweight division. But he don't want to do that. Not with Artur Beterbiev, but with Bivol, yes. It's confusing to me. It's confusing. Honestly, I'm torn on who wins between Canelo and Benavidez. There's so many factors in that matchup that I can't even type it all. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of different things coming in. Like Benavidez is a come forward or an extreme come forward fighter. So much so that he fights squared up. So we're going to have a squared up, Benavidez fighting Canelo. It's going to be a weird thing to see because even Gennady, being a knockout artist, was not as come forward as Benavidez. He was more of a tactical knockout artist, while Benavidez has good combinations, good, punch selection, very good punch selection, almost immaculate punch selection, but he's constantly coming forward. So I would love to see Canelo in a fight where he's not the guy pushing the aggression, the other guy is. And I would love to see what Canelo does in that type of a fight where somebody's going for that kill, going for that knockout. That'll be very interesting. The fact that Usyk accepted that 70-30 split with no issues told me everything about his character. Yeah, he wants the legacy. There's fighters that are there for legacy and there's fighters that are there for money. He'll take less money just so that he can fulfill his legacy. And I love that. I love that about him. I like to call Usyk Big Loma. LOL. Yeah, kinda. He be doing the angles and stuff too, and he's a slower version, obviously, because he's bigger, but yeah, he's kind of like Lomachenko. Impure Sins, what's going on, brother? Wouldn't doubt if David fought and Billy or Shishkin. Nah, I think he's pushing to fight Jaime Munguia. Didn't mean and Billy meant Andre. Nah, he's not going to fight Demetrius Andre. He's going for Jaime Munguia. I think Jaime Munguia just makes more sense. Andre is not going to pull as many viewers as a Jaime Munguia fight. Jaime Munguia is going to pull a lot of viewers. Plus, Jaime Munguia has a 42-0 record. He's Mexican. It's a Mexican versus Mexican battle. It's a good fight for him to do numbers. Canelo dunks Benavidez and Benavidez dunks Morell. How? Okay, see, here we go. Please explain to me, Aldrin the Mag, how is Benavidez dunking Morell? Wait, I want to see this. How is Benavidez dunking Morell? Please explain. I want to see where your explanation comes from. Where's the sentiment? Because we already got the proof that it ain't a duck. But let's see. Aldrin the Mag. Let's see. No response? I just read your title. Oh, okay. So, okay. Do you think that he's actually ducking Morell? I was not here. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. All right. So just so that I could show it real quick. I'm going to show it real quick. We're just going to pull it up real quick. Just so that you see what David Benavidez is planning. So we go to picture in picture. David Benavidez states, there's no fight with Morell lined up. We want to fight Jaime Munguia. Now, if we look at Morell, this is Morell BoxRec, ranked number 9 in the world, 4-star rated super middle, with very notable wins. Hasn't beat anybody of note yet. And just 9 bouts. So very green. But we look at Jaime Munguia, 42-0 with 33 knockouts, 5-star rated super middle, number 4 in the world, with notable wins over Sergey Derenchenko and Liam Smith, as well as Gabriel Rosado. So when Benavidez says he doesn't want to fight Morell because he wants to fight Jaime Munguia as a second choice to Canelo, that is not a duck. It is not a duck to choose a much more difficult, much more polarizing, much more marketable fighter. And it's Jaime Munguia carries all of that stuff. Morell just is too green. You could look slick and nice and all that stuff against these guys. How are you going to look when you're fighting somebody like a David Benavidez, like a Canelo, like a Jaime Munguia? So no, it is not a duck. It would not be a duck if he decides to fight Jaime Munguia instead of Morell. Even though people are trying to put that, I'm not saying that you're trying to put that narrative out there, Aldrin, but there are people that are trying to put that narrative out there. All right, let me pull this up, pull you guys up here. When you have the chess pieces and the control of the board, you're going to leverage the game in your favor at all times. De La Hoya, Canelo, Mayweather, etc. Yeah, 100%. 100%. This is an old one, but Canelo fought Bivol and said he ain't never going back to light heavyweight again. But he wanted to fight Bivol at light heavyweight. I guess he was saying, like, only for Bivol I would go back to light heavyweight, just so that he could avenge the loss. But Bivol wanted to come down, and he didn't want to have Bivol come down. So, I mean, it is what it is. Artur is 40 years old. Kovalev was 37 when Canelo fought him and coming off a win against Anthony Yarde. Yeah, but it ain't the same. It's whenever you're in your athletic peak. Artur Beterbiev, when Canelo fought him and coming off a win against Anthony, Artur Beterbiev just fought and beat Anthony Yarde. So in pure sense, I'm very confused. He just beat Anthony Yarde right now. Artur is fighting Smith. Yeah, of course, because Canelo's not fighting him, so he gotta fight somebody else. He's not gonna just sit around waiting for somebody like a Canelo to fight him. Yo, if Caleb Smith beats Beterbiev, what does that say about Canelo? That says he's a beast because he already been there, done that. I know it won't happen, but imagine. Hey, anything can happen in boxing, but I have Beterbiev winning that fight. The fight that I need, the fight for Beterbiev and Bivol is each other. That's the truth. Like, Canelo that's gimmicky. That's just Canelo doing a Canelo thing. That's like for him, for his own story. But really, at light heavyweight, the only fight that makes sense is Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. And I don't know who's holding that fight up. It looks like Bivol really, really, really wants that fight. So hopefully, after this Liam Smith fight, Beterbiev goes and fights Bivol, and they could unify the titles and do undisputed. If Callum beats him, that's an easy belt for Canelo again. I mean, he already did it, so he's just going to have to do it again. It's easy. I got Callum by KO. Beterbiev gets hot too much and has bad defense. He has horrible defense. But you know who else had horrible defense? Deontay Wilder. And he beat 95% of the people he fought. You can have horrible defense, but when you a KO artist, when you know how to knock people out, all that stuff go out the window. Anthony Yarde was doing amazing against Artur Beterbiev. He was boxing him, then he got iced. When you could set up an eraser, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how crazy your skills are or whatever. You got that knockout power. You got Deontay Wilder in your profile pic. You know he was losing to Ortiz twice. Hit him with that eraser twice. That's power, and Artur Beterbiev has power. and a little bit more controlled power than Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder, he had the jab set up to the right hand or the right hand naked. He could take you out. But Artur Beterbiev has a little bit more options with how he could take you out. YouTube Boxing 6007, I actually have him KOing Beterbiev with a counter left hook at some point in their fight. I don't know, man. I don't know if he'll be able to KO him. Mugia is on the zone, though. Yeah, but so what? Ryan Garcia was on the zone. And Tank was in the PBC. Showtime. They still found a way to connect and make that fight happen. They'll find a way to connect and make this fight happen. De La Hoya it looks like De La Hoya is willing to have his fighters go, if it makes sense. If it makes sense financially, he's willing to have that happen. I could see it happening. They've already proven to me that they're willing to do it for the right fight. He didn't duck Morell. Morell's team said no to the PBC offer because he's not ready. Yeah, but Morell's he's gone on a Twitter rant explaining how Benavidez is scared and how he doesn't want to fight him and he's running or whatever. But I chalk that up to boxing politics. I don't think he's ready at all. Rumor has it that Jamal is still laying in bed deciding if he wants to fight and take the Canelo fight or not. Yeah, I know. He's still rolling around. He got the covers up to here. He got his phone. He's like on all the social media sites. And he's just thinking like, do I really got to get up? Like, I'm so comfortable. It's like 2 years, I'm just getting comfortable, whatever. Like, I don't know if I want to fight. Do I really need to fight? That's Jamal right now. And if he rolls out of bed to fight Canelo, you really think we're going to get a Jamal that's going to do something to Canelo Alvarez? It's not even if you take his resume, he ain't even fight crazy. Like, it's not nothing crazy. He's not doing crazy stuff. So it's like, even if he was active, he's not doing anything crazy out of the ordinary. Even if he was active, his brother is a different story. His brother undisputed. His brother's completely different story, but him, he not doing nothing crazy. He was talking about Kovalev beating Yarde before Canelo. Okay, but that don't matter. Like, age don't matter. Age does not matter. It's how you perform. If you could be 36 and 37 and still fight like Floyd Mayweather, then Floyd Mayweather gonna beat you at 36, 37. As he proved fighting the top guys, he was able to beat them at an older age. Age don't really matter. It's just your peak performance. Some people decline quicker than others. Bernard Hopkins was still killing it at 40 something. So don't go by age, go by performance. Do they perform like they're old? Then their age caught up to them. If not, then they got special genes that allow them to keep fighting for further into their older age. Age, you can't just carpet bomb 35 and 36 and be like, that's old for everybody. Because that's not the case. It don't work like that in boxing. Some people, that is old. For others, that's just like they're at their athletic peak right there. They're at their performance peak. Like, you gonna tell me Bud Crawford was better at 25 than he is now? Think about that. He's better now than he was when he was 25 or when he was 27. He's better now. Age don't mean nothing. It's your performance that matters. You could be old and still be good. Artur Beterbiev, he's old, but he's still good. What do you rate Benavidez' defense? I don't think he has good defense. I think his offense is his defense. And when I say that, that means that the person doesn't necessarily have good defense. But because their punch selection, his punch selection is so good. His combinations are very good. They're smart. His punch placements smart. His speed, good for the division. His aggression, his style of being straight up where every punch is pretty much a powerful punch. That allows him to keep you punch shy or keep you from punching, thus making his offense his defense. So with Benavidez, his offense to me is his defense, which means his defense in the general sense, in the technical sense, is not that great. He doesn't have that great of a defense. But he has really good volume. And he has good punch placement. And he puts that together, and it's a nightmare for a lot of people. I would actually like to see David versus David instead of David versus Munguia. I think Munguia gets washed by David. You would like to see David Benavidez versus David Morell instead of David Benavidez versus Munguia? Why? David Morell is ranked 9th in the world. He only has 9 fights against nobodies. Remember, you could look good against anybody if you're not fighting anybody. You could look good against anybody if you're not fighting anybody. Prince Nassim Hamed is notorious for how stylish and slick he was in that ring. The moment he fought Marco Antonio Barrera, it was like, what the heck happened? You can look good against anybody if you're not fighting anybody. 9 fights, ranked 9th in super middle, no notable wins, is not anything that tells me, oh, just because I've seen him look good in the ring, just because I've seen him look stylish, now all of a sudden he should be fighting David Benavidez, who's the person that we're lining up for Canelo. No. If anything, Jaime Munguia ranked 4th in the world with 42 wins and no losses, with notable wins against people like Rizardo, Liam Smith, Sergey Derenchenko. That's different. I don't know how that makes Morell a better proposition than Munguia. You could think that Munguia is going to get destroyed. That's fine. But in terms of the actual what it is, Munguia is a much better pick. More profitable. There's going to be more eyeballs on there. And he got a better record. He has a better record. No. Morell is not better in any way. No matter how you slice it, he's not better. He's just not. No, Munguia fights at super middle. Just getting on the live, LOL. Well, welcome, Wes. Welcome to the live. It's about to end. We got 1 more minute, but welcome. Hit the like, guys, on your way out, please. Charlo is wasting his career while his brother is making history. It's sad. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how different they are, right? It's kind of crazy because, Jamal, he's not even fighting any, notable fighters. Meanwhile, his brother is becoming undisputed in his division at 154. Crazy. Yeah, I'd take a current undefeated 38-year-old Beterbiev over a 36-year-old Kovalev that got stopped twice already. Yep. That 36, see, that's the thing. 36 for Kovalev after getting beat up by Andre Ward is not the same thing as a 38-year-old Beterbiev that just knocked out Anthony Yarde without losing and has knocked everybody out who he's fought. That ain't the same, bro. It ain't the same. It's the mentality and your performance level wherever you're at. Floyd Mayweather was 36 when he was at the peak of his career. He was 36 when he beat, how old was he 36? I think he was 36 when he beat, before this, I think it was before the Manny Pacquiao. I have to go back and check if he was 36 when he fought Canelo, if he was 36 when he fought Manny. But either way, he was 36 doing work. So all that stuff about age and stuff is not about the age. It's about the person and how they perform. You be spitting bars for real. Yo, thanks, AP. All right, hold on. Let me get these last two in real quick. I already answered it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the stream right there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Had a blast today talking about the David Benavidez fight or non-fight with Morell for a better fight with Jaime Munguia. So kudos to him for that, because that's smart. I think that he's choosing a better opposition. If he was going to pick somebody, I don't think there's even a better pick, in my opinion, in that division than to fight Jaime Munguia if you're not going to fight Canelo Alvarez. I'm hoping that Canelo Alvarez just fights him and all of this is just like, hey, you know what? I wanted 60 million guaranteed. And if that's all he wants and they could do that and somehow they could do it and whatever, and he's just posturing by picking everybody except Benavidez, I hope that it's just a political play, because really, if it's confirmed in September, Canelo versus Jamal, we're not even going to say Charlo no more, we're going to say Jamal, so everybody knows which brother he's fighting. The 2-year retired brother, basically. If that comes to fruition, it's just going to be sad, especially for this year, right? I want this year to, like, if he fights Benavidez, this year will end in a bang. This will be a bang year. It's already a bang year, because we get into Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. We're probably going to get it twice this year. And then we could get the Canelo fight, man. It's with Benavidez. It will make this year the best. This year is already probably the best boxing matchmaking year in modern boxing history. Right? But this would just make it like untouchable. Like no one would ever be able to touch this year. So we'll see. Maybe he's trying to do some type of financial, political move so he could make sure he has the best pay-per-views of the year. So he'll push the Benavidez fight to next year just so he could, because the Tank fight already did 1.2 million. He doesn't want to compete against that. So he wants to take next year's pay-per-view numbers. Who knows? I'm hoping there's some sort of political background to this, because I definitely 100% want Canelo versus Benavidez. Anyways, until the next one, guys, thank you so much. Love you, bro. W stream. Great stream. Catch you next time. Stay safe. To all you guys, TM. I thought he was 36, fought at 824 Canelo. There you go. Canelo, 36 fighting a 24-year-old Canelo, and he cleaned him up, proving that 36 is not a big deal when it comes to fighters fighting at their peak performance peak. You got to look at each individual fighter on their own performance peak merits. Canelo, Mayweather, B-Hop, they've proven that you could be a beast at an older. It's not one for one. Kovalev 36 and this guy 38. So Kovalev was already off past his prime at 36. Therefore, he's definitely past his prime. That's not how it works. That's simple math. That's not how the human biology works. Anyways, until the next one, guys, it was fun. Hit the like on the way out, and we'll see you on Friday. Peace out, guys.